Hello students, in this video we are going to cover the numericals which are asked in the summer 2017 and summer 2018 exam. Of course, all the questions are related to the subject power system analysis. So, first of all, we try to solve the numericals which are asked in the summer 2017 exam. Okay, the first question number 1A, and this question is based on the syllabus of complex power. And if we go through the given data for the question, what is the question? We'll first of all we'll read out the question. In the following circuit of figure 1A, phi is equal to 1200 at an angle of 0 degree volt. Z1 is equal to 60 plus J0 ohm. Z2 is equal to 6 plus J12 ohm, and Z3 is equal to 30 minus J3 ohm. That is, as shown in the diagram, three impedances which are connected, or three loads which are connected in parallel, and they are supplied by the common voltage source P. And the rating of voltage source and impedances are given. What is the question? Find the power absorbed by each load and also the total complex power. That is, we have to calculate the power absorbed by each load. That means power absorbed by load 1, load 2 and load 3 respectively, as well as total complex power in the circuit. So we try to find out the answer. Actually, I had solved all these questions and we'll discuss step by step how to solve this numerical. So in this question, actually they had given the voltage source, three loads are connected in parallel. Suppose I is the total supplied current from the supply source. I1, I2 and I3 are the current flowing through the loads Z1, Z2 and Z3 respectively. Then current I1, that is current flowing through the load 1, is equal to total voltage divided by load 1. That is, total voltage is 1200 at an angle of 0 degree volt, and impedance of load 1 is 60 plus J0. So I1 is equal to 1200 at an angle of 0 degree upon 60 at an angle of 0. It will be 20 plus J0 ampere. Thus we have calculated the current flowing through the load 1. Similarly, current flowing through the load 2, I2 is equal to 1200 at an angle of 0 degree upon impedance of load 2, 6 plus J12. So it will be 40 minus J80 ampere. And current flowing through the load 3, I3 is equal to phi upon Z3, that is 1200 at an angle of 0 upon 30 minus J3, that is 20 plus J20 ampere. Now we are having the current flowing through the load 1, 2 and 3 respectively. Also we are having the idea about uh, voltage which is supplying the voltage to this load 1, 2 and 3 respectively. Therefore, complex power which is consumed by the load 1, that is S suffix 1, is equal to phi into I1 star. Because we are having the idea complex power is nothing but it is the multiplication of voltage and complex conjugate of current. So voltage is 1200 at an angle of 0 degree and current I1 is 20 plus J0 ampere. Its conjugate is 20 minus J0. So we will get the power supplied or power consumed by the load 1, that is S suffix 1, is equal to 24,000 watt plus J0 volt ampere reactive. That is, first part of this complex power represent the active power consumed by the load, and second part represent the reactive power consumed by the load. Similarly, S2, that is complex power consumed by the load 2, is equal to phi into I2 star, where I2 star is nothing but complex conjugate of current I2. Now you are having the value of phi and value of the I2 is 40 minus J80 ampere, whose complex conjugate is 40 plus J80. Hence, we will get ST is equal to 48,000 watt plus J 96,000 volt ampere reactive. Similarly, the complex power which is consumed by the load 3, S3 is equal to phi into I3 star, that is voltage is 1200 at an angle of 0 degree into current I3 is 20 plus J20 ampere, whose complex conjugate is 20 minus J20. Hence, complex power S3 is equal to 24,000 watt minus J24,000 VAR. See, here the question is that calculate the complex power consumed by the load 1, 2 and 3 respectively, which we had calculated. But uh, in some cases, there might be the question, calculate active power consumed by the load or reactive power consumed by the load. At that time, you can calculate that active power and reactive power from the complex power consumed by the load. For example, suppose there is a question, what is the active power consumed and reactive power consumed by the load 1, then S1 is equal to 24,000 watt plus J0 VAR. That means active power consumed is 24,000 watt and reactive power is 0 volt ampere reactive. Now another question in this numerical is calculate total complex power. Now here all the loads are connected in parallel and hence total complex power S is nothing but algebraic sum of the complex power consumed by the load 1, 2 and 3 respectively. Therefore S is equal to S1 plus S2 plus S3 is equal to 96,000 watt plus J70 72,000 volt ampere reactive. Now we will go through the another numerical. See, there is another numerical in question 2a. Just refer the diagram. There are two number of generators are connected in parallel and they are at bus 1. Then power is transferred from transferred through the transformer T1 transmission line, transformer T2 to the load. And rating of all the equipments are given. But what is the question? The power system is shown in figure 2a. Draw a reactance diagram with per unit quantities. Select the base 5 kVA to 50 volt in the circuit of generator. Sketch. See, in this case, we know that whenever we are going to deal with the per unit quantities, first of all, there is need to select base value of power and base value of the voltage. We had already discussed what are the general rules for selection of the base power, selection of the base voltage, etc. But for this numerical, they had already given information that which base value you have to select. Like base value of the power is 5 kVA and base value of the voltage is 250 volt. And you have to draw the reactance diagram with per unit quantities. So we'll try to solve this numerical. This is the question 2. So we'll discuss step by step. So this is the diagram as per the given diagram. Now we have to calculate the per unit quantities. See, base kVA is 5 kVA and base voltage is given. That is, base kVA for the complete circuit is 5 kVA and base voltage in generator circuit is 250 divided by 1000, that is 0.25 kV. So per unit reactance of the generator 1 is nothing but J 0.2, that is original reactance, into 0.20 upon 0.20 bracket square into 5.0 upon 1.0, that is J 1.0, because we are having the idea that in this case the base voltage and base power is same. That is, we had calculated the per unit reactance of the generator. Now per unit reactance of the generator 2, that is, what is the actually reactance? J 0.3. So J 0.3 into 0.25 upon 0.25 bracket square into 5 upon 2. See, this is the generator 2 into 5 upon 2. So it will be J 0.75 per unit. That is, we are having the value of generator 1 and generator 2 reactance. Now we will calculate the reactance for per unit reactance of the transformer T1. So for transformer T1, what is the actual reactance they had given? J 0.2 per unit. So J 0.2 into J 0.25 upon 0.25 bracket square upon into 5 upon 4, that is 5000 upon, sorry, 5 MVA upon T1, 5 upon 2. Okay, so what is that value? It is J 0.75 per unit. Now per unit reactance, sorry, J 0.25 per unit. Now base voltage in the circuit is nothing but base voltage in the generator circuit into transformer ratio of the transformer. So T1 is equal to 0.20 into 800 upon 250. That is because we have to calculate the value on secondary side. So we are going to use the transformer ratio, which is 250 upon 800. So it will be, that voltage is 0.8 kV. Now per unit reactance impedance of the transmission line is equal to actual transmission line impedance into kVA base upon kV base bracket square into 1000. So what is the value of the transmission line impedance as given in the diagram? It is given 40 plus J 250. So 40 plus J, sorry, per reactance impedance into 5 upon 0.8 bracket square into 1000. So it is 0.3125 plus J 1.70 per unit. Now per unit impedance of the transformer T2 is equal to J 0.6 into 1 upon 0.8 bracket square into 5 by 8. It is 0.0586 per unit. So per unit load of kVA is 2.5 upon 5, that is 0.5 per unit. The entire system is now represented by the impedance diagram, because now you are having all the parameters in per unit value. You have to just draw the single line diagram and you have to represent all the values into the per unit impedance form. So now the reactance diagram will be generator G1 G2, and in this case series reactance is shown, because we are having the idea that in case of the reactance the generator equivalent model is nothing but EMF behind transient reactance. So it is J0, J1.01 and J0.75 are the reactance of generator 1 and 2 respectively. Then this is the reactance for the transformer, then this is the reactance for the transmission line, and then reactance for the uh, transformer 2 and reactance of the load. Thus, the equivalent reactance diagram is shown, in which all the parameters shown in per unit value. Okay. Of course, for more practice, you have to solve the numericals from the JB Gupta book and Nagaraj Kothari book. Books are of power system analysis. Now, next numerical is unit 4, that is, it is related to the symmetrical fault analysis. The question is based on the syllabus of symmetrical fault analysis. So, question 4B. Of course, make sure that whenever you are going to solve the numerical, first of all, list out the given data and accordingly try to solve the numerical, so that you will get the idea what is the given data and which parameter actually we have to solve. So in this case, actually this is the example of the symmetrical fault analysis which we have to solve. So what is the given data? Two 3-phase 11 kV generators of capacities 8 MVA and 4 MVA and subtangent reactances of 8% and 4% respectively operate in parallel. That is, two generators are operate in parallel and whose reactance and rating is given. The generating station is connected to a transmission line of 200 kilometer length. That is, length of transmission line is given through a step-up transformer of capacity 4 MVA and having percentage reactance of 3.5%. So mostly in such type of numerical, try to draw the diagram so that you will get the clear data. So here two generators are connected in parallel and they are connected through the transmission line and transformer. So these are this is the transformer and whose rating is given. Then transmission line is whose length is of 200 kilometer length, and the resistance and reactance of the transmission line per kilometer of its length are 0.025 ohm and 1.0 ohm, and it's operate at 66 kV. That is, resistance and reactance of the transmission line is given, from which you can calculate the impedance. So it is 5 plus J20, and calculate the short circuit MVA for phase to phase fault at the receiving end of the transmission line and at sending end. So you have to calculate the short circuit MVA. That means here we are considering the example of phase to phase fault, which is the example of the symmetrical fault, and hence this is the numerical which will be considered under the symmetrical fault analysis. So we'll try to solve the numerical. See, SLA of the system is shown in figure. Let base kV for the complete system be 8000 kV, because we can select the higher value of the power as base value. So here we have selected the 8 MVA as the 8 MVA, which is converted into the kV, 8000 kV as base voltage, and base kV for the generator side be 11 kV. That is, for generator side it is 11 kV, and transmission side it is 66 kV, because we are having the idea that when base value of the power remains same throughout the system, whereas base value of the voltage changes as per the transformer ratio. In this case, transformer ratio is 11 by 66 kV, and hence on secondary side of the transformer base voltage is 66 kV, and on primary side of the transformer, that is at the generator side, it is 11 kV. So per unit reactance of the generator A is equal to 8 upon 100, that is 0.08 per unit. Then per unit reactance of the generator B is 4 upon 100 into 8000 upon 4000, because here this is the new base value of power and 4000 is the original base value of the power. So it will be 0.08. Now per unit reactance of the transformer is 3.5 upon 100 into 8000 upon 4000, that is 0.07. Now impedance of the transmission line, that is this impedance is per unit per kilometer impedance. Since length of the transmission line is 200, so total impedance of the transmission line is 200 into 0.025 plus j 0.1, that is 5 plus j20 ohm. Now per unit impedance of the transmission line is equal to 5 plus j20 into base value of power 8000 upon kV square, that is 66 square into 1000, because we have to convert this value into the MVA power value. So it is divided by 1000. So it will be 0.0092 plus j 0.0368 per unit. So you are having the per unit impedance of the transmission line also. Now we'll draw the SLD. So this is the part for the generator 1, that is EMF behind transient reactance, generator B EMF behind transient reactance, and while drawing the single line diagram or reactance diagram, we consider the EMF equal to 1 per unit. So A dash is equal to 1.0 B for A and B, that is both generators. Then their internal reactance is connected in series. Now this is the reactance of the transformer, this is the reactance of the transmission line. We have to calculate the fault MVA. So equivalent of two reactants in parallel, that is J0.8, J0.08 and J0.8. So equivalent reactance is J0.04. So we will get this total equivalent reactance as shown in the figure C. That is, we had calculated the equivalent reactance of the generator A and generator B. Now for three-phase fault at the sending end F1 side of the transmission line, the total impedance up to the fault point is J0.040 plus J0.07, that is J0.11, and hence short circuit MVA is equal to base MVA upon per unit reactance. Base MVA is 8000 into 10 raised to minus 3 upon 0.11 per unit reactance. So it is 72.73 MVA. That is, this is the short circuit MVA. Now for three-phase fault at the receiving end side of the transmission line, the total impedance up to the fault point is, we have to consider the total impedance, that is J0.0 plus J0.07 then we have to add the this transmission line impedance also. So which is 0.0092 plus j 0.0036. So you will get the total impedance 0.147 at an angle of 86.4 degree. Thus, where the location is given, up to that location we have to calculate the fault impedance, and then you have to utilize it for calculation of short circuit MVA. So in second case we have to consider the fault impedance up to the fault point F2, and short circuit MVA is equal to base MVA upon per unit impedance, that is 8000 into 10 raised to minus 3 upon 0.1471, it is 54.4, that is short circuit MVA is 54.4. Thus we had solved this numerical. Now another question is question 5. Actually this numerical is based on the unsymmetrical fault analysis. So weekly we'll go through the given data of the unsymmetrical fault analysis, because we had already discussed whenever you are going to calculate the you are going to solve the numerical, first of all go through the given data and then try to calculate the all the parameters. So try to understand what is the given data for the given numerical. So what is the numerical? There are two generators, generator 1 and 2, and neutral of the one generator is connected through the is grounded through the reactance. What is the question? 211 kV 20 MVA generator, that is both generators are identical and having the same rating. Three-phase star connected generators operate in parallel as shown in the figure. The positive, negative and zero sequence of each being respectively J 0.18, 0.15 and 0.10 per unit. That is positive, negative and zero sequence reactance of both generators are same. The star point of one of the generator is isolated, that is for generator 1, and that of the other is earthed through a 2 ohm resistor, that is generator 1 is earthed through 2 ohm reactance resistor. A single line to ground fault occur at the terminal of one of the generator, and we are having the idea that line to ground fault is nothing but example of unsymmetrical fault. That means this is the example of unsymmetrical fault analysis. And which parameter we have to calculate? First parameter is fault current, second parameter current in the grounding resistor, and the voltage across the grounding resistor. These three parameters we have to calculate. So we'll try to solve the numerical. This is the given diagram as per the numerical. Now X1 equivalent, that is reactance of the generator 1 is J 0.18 upon 2, that is J 0.09, because both generators are connected in parallel, and X2 equivalent, that is negative sequence reactance J 0.15 upon 2, that is J 0.075, and X equivalent is equal to J 0.10 plus 3 Rn. So X0 equivalent is equal to J 0.10 plus J3 into 2 into 20 upon 11 square, that is 0.99 plus J 0.1. Now for line to ground fault, fault current IF is equal to, that is up to this step we had calculated positive sequence reactance, negative sequence reactance and zero sequence reactance. Now fault current is calculated by 3 into EA upon X1 equivalent plus X2 equivalent plus X0 equivalent. That is, but we are having the idea that in case of the unsymmetrical fault analysis, we consider the EMF equal to 1 at an angle of 0 degree volt. So here 3 into 1, that is 3 upon equivalent reactance, that is 3 into 1 upon, we are having the value of positive, negative and zero sequence reactance. Just put it and you will get the fault current, which is equal to the 2.87 minus J 0.756 ampere. So this is the fault current. Now what is the second parameter which you have to calculate? Calculate the current in the grounding resistor. So current in the grounding resistor is equal to, what is the fault current? 2.87 minus J 0.756. So IF is equal to 2.926 into 20 upon root 3 into 11, that is 3.07 kilo ampere. And voltage across the grounding resistor is nothing but resistance into current, that is 40 into 2. sorry, voltage across the grounding resistor is 40 upon 120, 40 upon 2 into 2.827 minus j 0.756, because this is the actually the value of the voltage and it is multiplied by the base value, so we will get the actual value of the voltage in kilovolt. So this is the value of voltage across the grounding resistor. Now we'll try to solve the next numerical. Okay, only these are the numericals which are asked in the summer 2017 exam. Of course, for the you have to practice more and more numericals from the many reference books. Now we'll try to solve the numericals which are asked in the 2018 summer 2018 exam. Again, question is related to the concept of complex power. That is summer 2000 question is asked in the summer 2018. What is the question? Two voltage source V1 and V2. V1 and V2 where V1 is equal to 120 at an angle of minus 5 degree volt and V2 is equal to 100 at an angle of 0 degree volt are connected by short line of impedance Z is equal to R plus Jx, that is 1 plus J7 ohm. Determine real and reactive power supplied or received by each source at the power loss in the and the power loss in the line. So during the last video lecture also we had discussed how to calculate the complex power, and once you get the complex power it is nothing but combination of active and reactive power from which you can calculate the active and reactive power. So we'll try to solve the numerical. Here two voltage source V1 and V2 given. So how the current I12 will be calculated? I12 is nothing but V1 minus V2 upon Z1. So it will be 3.135 at an angle of minus 10 degree ampere. And I21 is nothing but V2 minus V1 upon Z1. You are having all the values, you can calculate the value of I21. That is, here I12 is nothing but current flowing from the source 1 to 2. I21 is nothing but current flowing from the source 2 to 1. Now, the complex power S12, which is flowing from the source 1 to 2, is nothing but multiplication of V1 into I12 star. Because we are having the idea complex power is nothing but multiplication of voltage source and complex conjugate of current. So V1 into I12 star. So V1 is 120 at an angle of minus 5 degree volt into I12 is 3.135 at an angle of 110.02 degree ampere. Since it is its complex conjugate, it will be 3.135 at an angle of plus 110.02 degree ampere. So you will get the complex power minus 97.5 watt plus J 363.3 volt ampere reactive. Here signal or sign minus represent it is the complex power consumed by the circuit. It is not supplied, it is consumed by the circuit. And hence active power is 97.5 watt and reactive power is 363.3 VR, which is consumed by the circuit. Now S21, that is power complex power supplied by the source 2 to 1 is V2 into I21 star. That is I21 star is nothing but complex conjugate of current I21. So voltage S2 here voltage is 100 at an angle of 0. Voltage V2 is 100 at an angle of 0 into I21 is 3.135 at an angle of 69.90 degree ampere. Now whose complex conjugate is 3.135 at an angle of minus 69.98 degree ampere. Most of the students make while making the make the mistake while calculating the complex conjugate. Make sure that in this case you are going to change the sign. So it will be 313.5 at an angle of minus 69.90 degree. So ST1 is equal to 107.3 minus J240 294.5. So line loss is given by SL is equal to S12 plus S21, that is 9.8 watt plus J68 point VAR. So this is the power loss in the transmission line. So power loss is nothing but algebraic sum of S12 and ST1. Thus we had solved this numerical. Now another numerical which is asked in the this exam. Okay, it is related to the load flow analysis. So what is the question? figure 3, that is in this figure, shows the one line diagram of simple 4 bus system. So this is bus number 1, bus number 2, bus number 3 and bus number 4. It is the simple 4 bus system, and table 3 gives the line admittances identify buses on which these terminate. So what is that table? This is the table, and this number gives the bus number. So suppose here 1 dash 2 means connection between the bus number 1 and bus number 2. Similarly 3 dash 4 is nothing but connection between bus number 3 and bus number 4 respectively. Here G per unit, that is conductance, is given in per unit, and B susceptance is given in per unit. So we are having the idea that admittance is nothing but it is the sum of conductance and susceptance. That is, for bus number 1 to 2, the admittance is 2 minus J6 per unit, because G minus JB. Similarly, you will get, from this table you will get the idea about admittance for different combination of buses. Okay, so what is the question? One note is shunt admittance at all the buses is assumed to be negligible. That's why we will not consider the shunt admittance. First parameter you have to calculate, find Y bus, assuming that line shown dotted is not connected. That is in first case you have to calculate the line shown dotted is not connected. That is, connection between 1 and 2 bus is absent. At that time you have to find the Y bus matrix. And second one, what modification need to be carried out in Y bus if the line shown dotted is connected. That is, if this line 1 and 2, that is connection between the bus number 1 and bus number 2 is connected, what will be the change in the Y bus matrix? That we have to calculate. So we try to solve the numerical. Here only keep in mind that in some cases admittance is directly given. In this case admittance you need to calculate. So we are having the idea that while calculating the Y bus matrix, now we will consider first case, line number 1 and 2 are not connected. Now in case of the calculation of Y bus matrix, we are having the rule that the size of the Y matrix is depend on the number of buses. That is, if n number of buses are present, size of the Y bus matrix is n by n matrix. In this case, the actually total number of buses are 4, and hence the size of the Y bus matrix is 4 by 4. So we'll write generalized Y bus matrix. Y bus is equal to Y11, Y12, Y13, Y14. Similarly up to the Y44. That is, generalized size of the matrix is 4 by 4 matrix. Now we'll try to calculate the diagonal and off diagonal element. But we are having the idea that whenever diagonal element, first of all, what is meant by the diagonal element and off diagonal element of the Y bus matrix? Here Y11, Y22, Y33, Y44, that is similar to YII, is the example of the diagonal matrix. Whereas Yij, where I is not equal to j, these are the example of off diagonal matrix, off diagonal element of the Y bus matrix. So here Y12, Y13, Y14, then Y21, Y31, Y41, etc. These are the example of off diagonal element of the Y bus matrix. Now first of all we will try to calculate the diagonal element, but that is Y11, Y22, Y33, Y44. So for diagonal element we are having the concept that the diagonal element is nothing but positive sum of all the admittances which are connected to the bus number 1. For example, Y11 is the positive sum of all the admittances which are connected to the bus number 1. So which buses are connected here? 1 and 2 are not connected. That means Y12 will be absent. Then Y13 is present. So positive sum, that is Y11 is nothing but Y13. Then since there is no interconnection between bus number 1 and 2, and we are having the idea that Yij is the off diagonal element. Now off diagonal element, how it is calculated? It is a negative sum of all the admittances which are connected between that buses. For example, Y12 is nothing but negative sum of all the admittances which are connected between bus number 1 and bus number 2. So in first case, the Y12 that is connection between bus number 1 and 2 is absent, and hence y12 is 0. Now y13 is nothing but negative sum of all the admittances which are connected to between bus number 1 and 3. Bus number 1 and 3 is connected, that means it is y13, but negative sum, that means it is minus y13. So this is my one is y13. Now regarding y14 element, there is no interconnection between bus number 1 and 4, and hence y14 will be equal to 0. So y14 is 0. Similarly, y21, but we are having the idea that y-bus matrix is called as symmetric matrix, and hence y12 is equal to y21, and hence y21 is equal to 0. Then y22 is the positive sum of all the admittances which are connected to the bus number 2. If we go through the diagram, to the bus number 2, bus number 3 and bus number 4 are connected. That means it is the positive sum of y23 and y24. So we can show y22 as y23 plus y24. Now y23 is equal to minus y23. Why? Because it is negative sum of all the admittances which are connected between bus number 2 and 3. So bus number 2 and 3 are connected. So it is minus y23. Now similarly, y24 is equal to minus y24 because there is connection between bus number 2 and 4 is present. Then y31 is equal to y13, that is minus y13. Y32 is equal to y23, that is minus y23. Then y33 is positive sum of all the admittances which are connected to the bus number 3. So here bus number 3, to which bus number 1 and 2 and 4 are connected. So it is y33 is positive sum, that is y31 plus y32 plus y34. Then y34 is equal to minus y34 because bus number 3 and 4 are connected. Then y41 is equal to y14, that is 0. y42 is equal to y24, that is minus y24. y34 is equal to y43 is equal to y34, that is minus y34. And y44 is the positive sum of all the admittances which are connected to the bus number 4. To the bus number 4, bus number 3 and 2 are connected, and hence y44 is equal to y34 plus y24. Okay, now we are having the idea about these admittances from the table. For example, in table, what is the bus admittance? y12 2 minus j6, y13 1 minus j3, y23 0.666 minus j2, y24 1 minus j3, y34 2 minus j6. Similarly, if we add these admittances, then you will get this diagram, y-bus matrix. So you are having the idea about all the admittances, you are having the idea that is for the diagonal element which admittance need to be added, from which you will get this final y-bus matrix. So this is the y-bus matrix when first case, that is bus number 1 and bus number 2 are not connected together. This is the half portion. But what is the remaining part? What modification need to be carried out in y-bus if the line shown dotted is connected? That means in second case, this bus number 1 and 2 are connected. So what we will do in this case? We are having the idea that if y-bus are modified and dotted line is connected, in this case when new line is added, yi new is equal to yi old plus 2 minus j6, because this newly added element is added in case of the diagonal element. But for off diagonal element, y12 is new is equal to y12 odd minus newly added admittance, that is 2 minus j6. So why 2 minus j6? Because whenever bus number 1 and 2 connected, the admittance for bus number 1 and 2 is 2 minus j6. That means newly added admittance is 2 minus j6. So it will be added in the y-bus elements which are related to the those buses in which modification is going to do. So in this case, y12 is new is equal to y12 old plus 2 minus j6. You will get the new value of the y21, and y22 new is equal to y22 old plus 2 minus j6, that is 3.666 minus j11. So only these parameters will be changed in in case 1. and that will be the new element for the second case. So modified Y bus matrix we will get from this. Thus, we had solved the numerical which is related to the load flow analysis and which is mostly based on the calculation of Y bus matrix. Now, next numerical is in question 4b. Sorry, question 4, and it is of symmetrical fault analysis. So, what is the in this case? Actually, symmetrical fault analysis. How to identify the numerical which is from symmetrical fault analysis according to the type of fault. If the fault is of symmetrical fault, it is called as the example of symmetrical fault analysis. If the fault type is unsymmetrical fault type, then it is called as the unsymmetrical fault analysis example. So what is the question? See, 6.6 kV generator 1, 2 and 3 each of 10% leakage reactance and MVA rating of 35, 45 and 20 MVA respectively are interconnected as shown in figure by a tie bar. This is the tie bar through current limiting resistors each of 10% reactance based upon the rating of the machine to which it is connected. That is, three generators are connected through the current limiting reactor, rating of the generator, then reactance of the generator and reactances of the current limiting reactor are given. The three-phase feeder is supplied from the bus bar of generator 1 with the line voltage of 6.6 kV. The feeder has a resistance of 0.06 ohm per phase and an inductive reactance of 0.12 ohm per phase. That is, they are given the ratings of the voltage source, that is generator, and impedance of the feeder. In terms of the resistance and reactance is also given. What is the question? Estimate the maximum MVA that can be fed into the symmetrical short circuit at the far end of the feeder. That is, this is the example of the symmetrical fault analysis. So we will try to solve the numerical. Here, first of all, we'll select the base value of power and base value of the voltage. Choose base value of the power is 45 MVA, base value of the voltage is 6.6 kV. Accordingly, we calculate the each parameter into the per unit form. So feeder impedance, which is 0.06 plus j 0.12 into base MVA upon base kV bracket square. So base MVA is 45, base kV bracket square is 6.6 square. In this case, impedance is R plus Jx, that is 0.06 plus J 0.12. So you will get the value of feeder impedance in per unit form is 0.061 plus J 0.123 per unit. Similarly, we will calculate the generator 1 reactance in per unit form. It will be 0.1 into new base value of power upon original base value of power. It is 45 upon 35, 0.12 per unit. Generator 2 reactance is 0.1 per unit because all its ratings are nothing but base values. Then generator 3 reactance 0.1 into new base value of power 45 upon original value 20, it is 0.225 per unit. Similarly, reactor 1 reactance is 0.12 10 into 45 upon 35, 0.13 per unit. Similarly, we will calculate the reactance 2 reactance in per unit form, it is 0.10 per unit. Reactance 3 reactance in per unit form 0.20 per unit. Now we are having all the reactants in the per unit value. So we will try to calculate the reactance diagram before the occurrence of the fault for pre-fault current. So this is the EMF, then this is the feeder whose impedance is given, then these three generators are connected in parallel whose reactances are the generator reactance and current limiting reactors. They are connected in parallel. So for calculation of fault current, we can calculate the equivalent impedance from this. So what is the equivalent impedance? 0.061 plus j 0.123, that is impedance of the feeder line, then plus j 0.128, then it is parallel combination of remaining j 0.13 plus j 0.2 parallel to j 0.465. So we'll get the equivalent impedance which is equal to 0.219 at an angle of 73.80 degree. impedance in per unit. So short circuit MVA is nothing but pre-fault voltage V0 into fault current IF. But fault current IF is nothing but pre-fault voltage upon fault impedance. We had calculated the fault impedance here. So, but in case of symmetrical fault analysis, the one assumption is that we consider the generator EMF equal to the 1 per unit. So it will be V0 is 1, hence V0 into V0 is 1 upon Z. But so when we uh, divide 1 1 upon Z into MVA base. So MVA base is power 45 upon Z is 0.219. So we will get the 205.5.47 MVA. See here 5 MVA base is multiplied, because if we calculate the 1 upon Z here, we will get the short circuit uh, power in per unit form. To convert it into the actual value, we had multiplied this per unit value by the MVA base. So it is 205.47 MVA. Okay. Now we'll try to solve the another numerical which is asked in the summer 2018 exam. So it is based on the syllabus of unsymmetrical fault analysis, and we are having the idea what are the example of the unsymmetrical fault. So we'll just go through the data and we'll try to solve the numerical. What is the data? A 10 MVA 132 kV alternator has positive, negative and zero sequence reactances of 30%, 40% and 5% respectively. That is, they had given the reactances in positive, negative and zero sequence reactances, and part reactance must be put in the generator neutral so that fault current for line to ground fault of zero fault impedance will not exceed the rated line current. See, example of the line to ground fault, that means it is the example of unsymmetrical fault analysis. And what we have to do, we have to calculate the fault impedance. What reactance must be put in the generator neutral so that fault impedance will not exceed the rated line current. Express the reactance both in per unit and in ohm form. So we'll try to solve this numerical. Actually, it is related to the current numerical related to the selection of the current limiting reactance. An example is of line to ground fault. That means it is related to the unsymmetrical fault analysis. So let base MVA be 10 kV. Sorry, let base MVA be 10 kV. Base MVA be 10 MVA and voltage is 13.8 kV. So E and AMP is 1 plus J0, because for the unsymmetrical fault analysis we consider the AMP equal to 1 per unit. So base MVA is equal to base impedance is equal to base kV square upon base MVA. So 13.8 square upon 10, that is 19.044 ohm. Now fault current IF is equal to 3E upon Z1 plus Z2 plus Z0 plus 3Zn plus 3Zf. Here Z1, Z2, Z0, these are the positive, negative and zero sequence reactance. Zn is the impedance of the neutral and Zf is the fault impedance. So it will be 3 into 1 upon J in bracket 0.3 plus 0.4 plus 0.5 plus 3 into Xn plus fault impedance is 0. So Xn is equal to 0.75 per unit. That is, this is the base value of n per unit. To convert it into the actual value, Xn is equal to base impedance into per unit impedance. That is 19.044 into 0.75. That is, Xn is equal to 14.283 ohm. That is, the reactance of 14.283 ohm should be connected in series. Now, last example, which is based on the syllabus of power system stability. What is the question? A 2-pole 50 Hz 11 kV turbo alternator has a rating of 100 megawatt. Power factor 0.8 lagging, 85 lagging. The rotor has moment of inertia of 10,000 kg meter square. Calculate H and M. That is inertia constant. You have to calculate the value of H and M. So we'll try to solve this numerical. First of all, what is the given data? P is equal to 2. So rotor speed is equal to 120 f by p. Here f is the frequency, p is the number of poles. So it will be 120 into frequency 50, number of poles 2. So 3000 rpm. To convert it into the radian per second, 3000 into 2 pi upon 600. So it will be 100 pi radian. Now GH is equal to 1 half I omega square, where G is the rating of generator in MV. Now, what is the stored energy? Sorry, rating. GH is equal to 100 upon 0.8. G is equal to 100 upon 0.85 into H is equal to 1 half I is 10 raised to 4 into 100 pi square into 10 raised to minus 6. So H is equal to 4.19 megajoule per MV, and M is equal to GH upon 180F. You are having the value of G, H and F, from which 100 into H is 4.19 upon 180 into frequency 50 into 0.85. So we will get the final value. M is equal to 0.0547 megajoule second per electrical degree. Thus, we have discussed few numericals, or we discuss how to solve this numerical, or what will be the method to solve the numericals which are asked in the summer 2018 and summer 2017 exam. For university exam, you have to practice more and more numericals. You can solve the numericals from the uh, power system and electrical power system by J.B. Gupta book, or by power system analysis by Nagrath Kothari. Thank you.